All right, good morning. Welcome to Sunday Morning Yoga Church. It is March 9th in the year of 2025, and we are rolling on Sunday mornings through the 8 limbs of yoga. We are still in the early stages of these limbs. We are in the yamas, and this is our third yama, which means we have covered ahimsa, we have covered satya. Today we cover asteya. So steya, S-T-E-Y-A, is the word for stealing. And when you put an A in front of a word in Sanskrit, it typically denotes without, not, or non. So we have not stealing or non-stealing. And this is, I mean, you can always look at this real black and white, like, well, I don't steal money and I don't steal the bathrobes anymore from hotels. So I don't steal. But Iyengar, in his book Light on Yoga, talks to us about the desire to possess and enjoy what another has drives us to do evil deeds. um, Not stealing includes not only taking what belongs to another without permission, but also using something for a different purpose than intended or beyond the time permitted by its owner. Think like overdue library books, right? It thus includes three things: misappropriation, breach of trust, and mismanagement and misuse. So I wanted to break those down for us real quick, and then we'll get rolling into our practice. So misappropriation is the act of stealing something that you've been asked to care for and using it for yourself. Breach of trust is breaking a promise or a confidence. And then mismanagement, the process of organizing or controlling something badly. So consider mismanaging our time. Consider, the first thing that I thought of when I read that definition was mismanaging my energy, mismanaging my prana, mismanaging my ojas, poorly organizing my time and my energy. So just throwing that out there. As we go through the practice this morning, I will remind you to be good stewards of your energy. And also, when we think of asteya, when I think of asteya, I think of, rather than looking at it from the negative term of don't steal, not stealing, I want to flip it to the positive, which is trust, right? Trusting that the next right thing is coming. And I'm going to keep, as long as we're in this chaos, that is called the United States right now, I'm going to keep circling back to it. And there's just a lot of unknowns and a lot of moving parts. And I'm asking myself and my close friends lately, what do we do to maintain calm, maintain equanimity when the script gets flipped? And I thought, okay, we can put that into our practice today. I don't typically do this. However, I'm going to do it this morning. We're going to use both ends of the mat. Okay, we're going to start facing what we typically consider the front of the mat. And then halfway through, we're going to flip the script and we're going to face the back end of the mat. Okay, I think it's important to give you that warning that we're going to flip things around halfway through class. So maintain calm, maintain composure, maintain some sense of equanimity when we start facing the back of the mat. Right now, though, face the front of your mat and have your block. We're going to use a block and a wall this morning. And I'm going to have you come down and sit in Virasana. Now, Virasana is when we are sitting on a block on its lowest or second height. We've got our knees together, the shins and the tops of the feet on the floor. This can be kind of a screamer on the ankles, pretty significant ankle extension. It can also be a screamer on the knees, deep, deep flexion in the knees. So if your body does not like this, manage your muscles, bones, and joints wisely and flip your own script and sit in a position that works for you. When you do get into your seat, I want you to bring your hands down to your lap and close your eyes. If you're comfortable with that, I'd like you to go palms down. I find that, excuse me, palms down brings about a sense of being grounded, a sense of being anchored. Notice your body, just a quick scan From the top of your head all the way down, moving down the rungs of your spine, into the pelvis, the hips, the legs, the knees, the feet. Looking for any tight spots or sticky spots. And become aware of your breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And when times are so uncertain, what we do know is that the next breath is coming. And check in with your mind. Just a brief peek upstairs. How's the weather this morning? Cloudy or calm? Bright or gray? And you can let your eyes open now if you'd like. And I want you to take a deep breath in, sweep your arms forward, reach up to the ceiling, anchor down through your pelvis. And as you exhale, circle your arms out to the sides like you're making a snow angel. But I want you to keep the belly firm so the low ribs don't pop out. 2 more times, inhaling. Deep in-breath through the nose. And exhaling slowly, let the arms float down to your sides. Allow the tips of your shoulder blades to draw towards your spine, giving your sternum a little extra buoyancy. Once more, breathing in, arms come up. And then a slow float down to your sides with the arms. Excellent. Good. We're going to start with some wrist warm-ups. Bring your palms together, clasp your fingers together gently, and we're going to make some figure eights with the wrists. Listen, notice any popping. Let's go the other direction. I love that sunny spot you're in, Kathy. Now you're going to spin your palms forward and take both arms up. Stay rooted down through the sit bones or your knees, and then let's do a little side bend to the left. Not real deep, just a little wake up through the right ribs, and then let's come over to the right. Good, and lift upright. Keep your fingers clasped and pull your hands down to your chest, and just notice which pinky's on the outside. Now you're going to switch. Other pinky gets a little air time, and here we go again, figure eights. Go the other direction. Freeing up any stagnant prana in the wrists, the fingers, the joints. Spin your palms forward, and once again, take your arms up. This time we're going to do a little cat-cow. So as you inhale, take your arms back a little bit more, really pull your sternum out of the belly. And as you exhale, we're just going to round the upper back, upper and mid back. Yeah, good. And then inhale, arms up. Maybe a little back behind your ears, and then exhale, a little round. Oh, one more time. Pulling the arms up as you breathe in. And a little round to the upper back as you breathe out. Oh, and then bring your hands down to your lap. Let your shoulders roll a couple times. Fingertips come to your shoulders now. And I should say, if you're sitting cross-legged, this would be a good time to change the cross of your legs. We're going to do circles with the elbows as big or as small as you like. And how about going the other way? Good. Arms come down. Ardha Gomukhasana arms. I want you to take your right arm straight up, palm facing the wall behind you. Bend your elbow, pat yourself on the back. So stage 1 is taking your left hand to your right elbow and using your hand to draw your arm back and in slightly. Stage 2 is to bring your left hand in from the back door and clasp your fingers together. Either way, draw that right elbow towards your head, towards the midline. Try to keep your head lifted, chin parallel to the earth. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then the left arm, if you've got the left arm behind you, that arm comes out first. Whew. And then the right arm reaches up to the ceiling and floats down to your side. Nice. Take the left arm up. You're going to externally rotate the arm, right? So the palm faces the wall behind you. Bend the elbow. Either right hand to the left elbow or see about bringing your right hand in from the back door. Not at all uncommon for the two sides to be significantly different from one another. Don't force, don't press, no pressure. Great. Let's take the right hand. If you've got the right arm behind you, right hand comes out first or right arm floats down. And then the left arm reaches up, then comes down to your side. Excellent. Good. Bring your two palms together. And I want you to keep your palms up, your thumbs up, like right in front of your nose. So pretty high. If your shoulders will give you that range of motion. And I want you to keep your elbows just as high. So your elbows, shoulders, and your wrist are all in the same plane. And like I dream of Genie, right? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so we're gonna take the arms over the prayer hand over to the left. Keep the elbows lifted. Good, and then over to the right, just gliding the prayer right across your nose. Notice if you get more of a stretch through one wrist than the other. Go side to side a couple more times. Move slow enough so you can experience and explore any sensation through the wrist, the forearm, maybe the shoulder. I'm gonna go one more time, left and right. Elbows up. Elbows up, elbows up, elbows up. Good. And over to the right. That's it. Great, Delinda. And come back to center. Keep your hands in prayer. You're going to flip the prayer. Take your fingertips down towards the floor. And it's tempting now for the shoulders to hike up. Be deliberate about releasing the shoulders away from the ears so the neck can stay long. Great. Good. Now we're going to spin the fingertips to the chest. Again, check in with your shoulders. If this feels super easy and accessible, take the hands a little farther from your chest, but keep the base of your palms together. Terrific. Prayer hands again, classic prayer, fingertips pointing up, and then bring your hands down by your sides. Good. Roll your wrists around a couple of times into both directions. And then I'm going to ask you to come off your block. If you're on a block, set the block to the side. We'll come to it in a bit. And come onto your hands and your knees. When you make it down to the hands and the knees, a couple rounds of cat-cow. Start to bring the spine into the picture, arching as you inhale, spinal extension. And then rounding, pulling the navel in deep to the body as you exhale. And articulating all three segments of the spine, the lumbar, the thoracic, and the cervical. On this next one, when you go into your exhale, drop into child's pose. And let's go through our balasana, this little half vinyasa that I like so well. From child's pose on the inhalation, come forward to staff. And now when you go into downward dog, notice if you're tempted to walk your feet forward. I know I'm really guilty of that. I do it quite a lot in my practice. The farther your feet are from your hands, the more load you're going to have on your shoulders. And this is about shoulder activation today. Come to your knees on your next breath in. I want you to keep your toes tucked. So we start to wake up the sole of the foot. And on the exhale, drop into child's pose. Really sink the hips into the heels, stretching the fascia, the plantar fascia. Glide forward to staff. Have your feet about 6 inches apart, because now I'm going to ask you to take your heels to the left. Both hands stay on the floor. Legs are strong and straight. And then take your heels to the right. Good. Return to the balls of your feet and downward dog. And notice if this dog feels awkward when you don't walk your feet forward. You see if you can let it be. Let it be kind of a long dog. We're going to do that one more time. On your inhalation, come to hands and knees, arching your back, looking forward. Dropping into balasana on the exhale. Come forward to staff when you inhale. I'm going to give you a couple of options. You can remain in staff. You can take your heels to the left. You can keep right hand to the floor or join me in taking the right arm up. For 3, 2, 1. Bring the right hand to the floor. Spin your heels to the right. Really activating the shoulder girdle. Either keep left hand to the floor or left arm up. For 3. Keep eyes focused on a point. 2 and 1. Left hand to the floor. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. I want you to walk your feet to your hands. Take your time. Call it a little morning moving meditation. And then over the course of a slow breath in, roll yourself up. Coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Aye. So, Surya Namaskar. I'm going to have you inhale your arms forward and up. Ground into the 4 corners of your feet. Float your arms out to the sides as you exhale, but stay standing. Lift the sternum. Now we're going to come into a chair pose. Breathing in, sink into the hips, arms come forward. And then fingertips to the floor, exhale. Inhale halfway up. And exhale your right foot back. Keep the knee lifted. And just pause in this lunge, often called runner's lunge. Notice where you are on your back toes. If you're sinking into the pinky toe, try to spread your weight evenly through all the toes you've got. And you're going to step back to downward facing dog. Left foot back. Float your right leg up. Keep the pelvis level, the hips square. Step your right foot forward. Drop your left knee. I just stubbed my toe on my block. And it's a hard block. Good. With the knee drop, we get a little deeper stretch through the left hip flexors and the right hip. And then tuck back toes under, lift the knee, take a breath in, and you're going to step forward whenever you exhale. Take your time. Set your hands to your waist and slowly rise up to standing. Unhinging your joints, finally bringing your arms down by your sides. And we're going to repeat that. Surya A, inhaling, sweep the arms forward and up. Circle your arms down to your sides on the exhale. Draw the tips of your shoulder blades towards one another. Chair pose, Utkatasana, inhale. And exhale, fingertips to the floor. Halfway lift on your in-breath, Ardha Uttanasana. Left foot steps back, exhaling, keep the knee lifted. And pause, breathing in. And breathing out, starting out slow, starting out with moves that we know. Repetition is good when there's so much chaos surrounding us. Finding the familiar in the pose, in our breath. Step your right foot back to downward dog. You can take your left foot up, keeping the hips level, the pelvis square. And stepping left foot forward. And this is where you'll bring your right knee down. So we find that deeper sensation in the right hip flexors. That means the front of the right thigh, the pelvis, yeah? And deeper in the left hips and glutes. Great, tuck the back toes under, pick up your right knee, take a deep breath in, and then step forward as you exhale. Good, from here, you're gonna sink into chair pose. Sink the hips, bend the knees, arms come forward. So this is where we're gonna flip the script, but I'll talk you through it. Your work is just to stay equanimous, keep your composure, trust me, trust your breath, trust the next shape will be one that you know, that you've done 108 times if you've done it once. Good, inhale deeply in chair pose, and then fingertips to the floor as you exhale, straightening the leg. Oh, that feels good. Inhale, come halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, fingertips to the floor or hands to shins, and then exhaling, bow deeply over your legs, take your right foot back, big step back, spin the heel down. Good, you're gonna sweep your arms forward, reaching towards the wall beyond your head. Now take your arms out like a T. And in this shape, with the arms like a T, I want you to draw the shoulder blades in and then release them. Shoulder blades in and release. One more time, shoulder blades in and release. And bring your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers together. And then you're gonna bow down, taking the crown of your head towards the floor. It's irrelevant whether it gets there. And taking your left shoulder towards your left knee. Arms come up, knuckles up and over. That looks great, everybody. Terrific. Release your fingertips to the floor. Good, you're gonna make a quarter turn to the right, coming into a wide-legged forward bend. So take your time here, get your feet set up, equal distance from the back of your mat, and find your block. Once you have your block, I'm gonna have you come halfway up so your torso is straight, strong, and parallel to the floor. Bring the block behind you to your sacrum. And we're gonna do block circles, horizontal. Take the block in your right hand and sweep the block out in front of your head. Catch it with your left hand. Bring it behind you. Now the key here, go one more time to the right. The key here is to keep your arms straight. Whoops. After you've done 2 to the right, we're going to go 2 to the left. Take the block in your left hand. Keep the arms level, parallel to the floor, and elbows straight the entire time. That'll isolate this movement deeply into the shoulder girdle. So 2 times right, 2 times left. Set the block down. And then you're going to bring fingertips to the floor. Make a quarter turn to the right. Left knee comes down to the floor. Right hand to your right knee, turn your right toes out to the right, about 30 degrees, and kick your left foot up behind you. You can stay just like this, or reach back with your right hand, grab that foot, And let's come into a deeper stretch through the left hip flexors and the left quadriceps group. Roll the right shoulder back. And then take a glance at your left arm. Notice if your left shoulder is rolling inward. Let's do a little external rotation with the left arm. Terrific. Release the left foot to the floor. Sweep your right arm forward. Good. Fingertips to the floor. Turn the right toes forward. Pick your back knee up. And this is where your block will come in handy again. Slide your block out in front of you on its second height. Both hands to the block. I'm just setting my hands to the edges of the block. And then we're going to stand up strong on the right leg. Take the left leg straight back behind us. Now, if you want to go crazy and go into standing splits, that's up to you. You might just take the left leg parallel to the floor as though this were a prep for warrior three. You're going to say, stay strong and long on that right leg. Bring your heart forward. Maintain your breath. Let's lift that left leg maybe a fraction higher if it's getting a little lazy. Let's activate it and then set the left foot down to the floor next to your right foot. I'm going to have you take your block, kind of slide it down to the other end of your mat on the floor. Get it out of the way. And then you're going to come into chair pose. Good. Flip of the script, facing the other end of the mat. Maintaining composure. Knowing that everything we're doing, we've done so many times before, so familiar. Just changing our experience, our relationship to the wall, the floor. One more breath in chair pose. And then stretch the legs, hands to the floor, straightening the legs, Uttanasana. Good. Come halfway up on your next breath in. And forward fold, exhale, take your left foot back. Okay, good. So we're going to stay in this. I often hear this called a power lunge. Good. Arms come forward. Notice how much of your weight is on your right leg and that right hip. Push a little of the attention into the back leg. Arms out like a T. And this is where we're going to draw shoulder blades in and release. Shoulder blades in and release. And one more time, shoulder blades in and release. Sweep your arms behind you, clasp your fingers together, and then take your knuckles up. As you take your head down, bringing your right shoulder in the direction of your right knee. And hug that right hip in. Couple more breaths, you're doing great. Let's take fingertips to the floor. And you're going to make a quarter turn to the left, facing the long edge of your mat. Good. Get your feet squared away. And then I'm going to have you bring your hands to your waist. Lift yourself up. Okay. Stage one, bring your arms behind your back, opposite hands to opposite elbows. Okay. Stage two, hands behind your back in reverse namaskar mudra. So prayer hands at your back. Try to get all 4 points of your palms touching one another. Good. So here we go. Take a breath in, lifting the sternum, and then exhale, coming down into a forward bend. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. Good. Lift yourself halfway up. Release your hands. Bring your fingertips to the floor. Take a quarter turn to the left. Now facing the top of the mat again, bring your right knee down. Left hand to your left knee, flip those left toes out to the left about 30 degrees, and then here we go. Right foot kicks up, you can stay just like this, or reach back with your left hand, grab the foot or the ankle, or take a hold of a pant leg, and we're gonna stay in this little twisty, stretchy pose for a few breaths. Externally rotate right shoulder. Excellent. Release your right foot if you have it. Sweep left arm forward. All fingertips to the ground as you turn the left toes forward. This is where your block comes into the picture. You're going to set your block out in front of you on its second height. Hands to your block. Pick your back knee up. And when you're ready, stand strong on that left leg. Take your right leg up. Take your chest forward. Pull that outer left hip back. Woo! That wakes up some sensation in my glutes. How about one more breath? Right foot settles down next to the left foot, Uttanasana, forward bend. Let your arms cross in front of your shins, taking opposite hands to opposite elbows, and allow yourself to drop into this ragdoll shape. Good. Change the cross of your forearms. And bring fingertips to the floor, and over the course of a deep, slow breath, roll yourself up. Yay, outstanding, everyone. Good. Good. So when things get flipped around on us, we know the next breath is coming, and we trust that we have the skill, the power, the strength to do what's next. We're going to go to the wall, okay? You might take your block with you. You can do a little experiment on the block. So you're going to take your block all the way to the wall. And let's go on its flat side, I think. This is just something you can practice at home. And come onto your knees. So come onto your knees so that your feet are on either side of the block, and your feet are all the way to your baseboard, all the way to the wall. If you've got the wall space for it. And if you don't have the wall space, just back your feet up to the base of a sofa or a very sturdy chair. And then hands come to the floor, shoulders over the wrist. And so we're going to practice coming into downward dog at the wall. So stage one is to lift the knees, lift the hips. Pads of the toes and balls of the feet come to your floor, and your heels are at the wall. So it's a pretty squatty dog, right? We're not going for that long dog that we were doing on the mat. Okay, so then your second option would be to step your feet up on your block. And if you've got two blocks, you can practice this at home on your own, and that's a really nice thing to do because you can take the blocks onto their second height. And so this puts a little more load into the shoulders. Good. Step your feet down off the block and come onto your knees. Rock back into child's pose. Let's give the wrists a moment of reprieve. You can take your forehead to the floor or rest it on your block. Sweep the block out in front of you if you'd like. All right, let's bring the hands out in front of us again. Palms to the floor, underneath the shoulders. Take your feet all the way to the wall. So we're going into half handstand. Trust me. With toes tucked, lift your knees. Good. Heels to the wall. So you can either step your toes up on your blocks once again, or Stretch your right leg up behind you and take the balls of your right foot, the ball of your right foot, or rather, the pads of your toes to the wall. So just start out here with this big, long stretch. Step your right foot down. And let's take the left leg. Stretch it up. You can drag your toes up the wall, slide your toes up the wall. And the more you push into your hands, the deeper the stretch you'll find in your legs and your hips. Great. Step your left foot down, come to your knees, rock into child's pose. Get off your hands. Okie dokie, y'all. Last one. Setting ourselves up again, just as we've been doing, taking any of the previous versions that fit you this morning. Child's pose is also an option of one of those versions. Those of you coming into dog pose, take your dog, and then you're going to take one foot up, immediately followed by the other foot. Trust that your hands and shoulders will hold you. Once your feet get up the wall, you can start to walk your feet down, maybe, until your legs are parallel to the earth. Breathing in and breathing out. Power up your legs. Feel the muscles in your back completely activating and trust that the next breath is coming. Take 2 more breaths. Looks great, Kathy. Breathing in, breathing out. 1 more breath. Inhale and exhale. Step your feet down one at a time. Beautiful. Child's pose, everyone. You can come back to your mat if you moved yourself around. Scan your body. Feel your energy. Everybody on the screen is being a good steward of their prana, a good steward of your energy. I'm going to have you come into a seated shape again. If Virasana worked for you at the beginning of the practice, take that again, sitting on your block. Otherwise, just sit cross-legged or climb up onto an ottoman or a sofa. That's fine. Office chair. Slowly rolling up. No sudden moves. Great. And then you're going to bring your forearms out in front of you with your elbows bent. I want you to bring your elbows all the way together and your forearms, wrists, and hands all the way together. And keep your elbows shoulder level for the duration. And then you're going to keep the elbows connected, but peel the hands, the wrist, and the forearms apart. Now watch that you don't overextend the wrist like this. Yeah. So you want to keep the fingers, finger joints, the wrist, and the elbows in the same plane. And then close. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Breathing in, peel open, press the elbows together, and close. 1 more time, peel open. And close. Great. You're going to take your right elbow under your left and just wrap your forearms as much as your body will allow. Take your forearms, elbows forward. Big stretch through the upper back and chin to your chest. Good. Lift your head, unwrap your arms. Okie dokie. Arms forward again, elbows together. palms and wrists stay together. Keep the elbows in line with your shoulders. And now you're going to pivot. Forearms over to the left. Good, and then pivot, forearms over to the right. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got it, Delinda. Good, brother. And to the left. Elbows up. Yep. And to the right. Beautiful. We're going to go one more time, left and right. Peel over to the left. And to the right. Great, nice shoulder work, everybody. Now come back to center, take the left elbow under the right and wrap your arms, or maybe just hook your thumbs and press forearms forward, chin to chest. Lift your head, unwrap your arms, bring your arms down by your sides. Take your left ear over your left shoulder. Bring your right arm behind your back and either just rest your right arm at the lower back, at the small of your back, or if your right fingers can connect with your left arm, give that a shot. Take chin down just a fraction and up. These little micro movements looking for that sweet spot. Good. Lift your head and release your arms. Take your right ear over your right shoulder. And bring your left arm to your low back. Maybe hook left fingertips to the right arm. Maybe not. These little micro moves with chin, chin down, chin up. Notice if you're holding your breath. Let your breath flow. It's one thing we can count on right now. Good. Bring your head up and release your arms. Take your chin to your chest and you're just going to do half circles. Roll left ear to left shoulder and bring your chin down to your chest again. Then you'll roll your right ear to your right shoulder. Good. And chin down. One more time, left to right. And as you finish up, you'll lift your head. And if you're in Virasana, come off your block. And if you're sitting cross-legged or up in a chair, come down onto your mat, roll onto your back. Really good. Bring your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg down onto the floor if it's not, and then take your right hand out to the right. And with your left hand on your right knee, guide your right knee across your body to the left, coming into a twist, supine twist. Iyengar goes on to write about asteya, that the yogi reduces his physical needs to the minimum, believing that if he gathers things he doesn't really need, he's kind of a thief. While other men crave for wealth, power, fame, or enjoyment, the yogi has one craving, and that is to love God. Freedom from craving enables one to ward off great temptations. Craving muddies the stream of tranquility. Bring your right knee up, returning to your back. Take your time changing legs, pulling your left knee in and slowly stretching your right leg down onto the floor. Let this transition be every bit as sweet as the twist itself. Just hugging the left knee in for a few breaths. And then taking left arm out to the left and bringing the left knee over to the right. No rush, we've got all kinds of time. Take a few more breaths. And then bring your left knee up, returning to your back. Bring both knees into your chest. Let yourself rock if that feels good, or roll. And then you're going to stretch your legs down onto the floor. It's time for Shavasana. Take any shape that feels right for you this morning. Remembering to be a good steward of your energy, not mismanaging your energy or your prana. I think it's in Nikolai Bachman's book where he talks about the 5 yamas in relationship to conversation and stealing. He likens it, the analogy he uses in conversation is kind of stealing the floor, interrupting. And I'm beginning to notice how often I do that. And looking at it in this context gives me pause. Once your body gets settled into the mat, draw your attention gently to your breath. And we're going to finish up with 4-part breath, just for a few rounds. When you become acclimated to that, and that steady breath in for 4 and out for 4 feels effortless, I want you to slow the exhalation down to 8. You take as many breaths as you need to get there. Maybe you just stick around at breathing in for 4 and out for 6. And at your next exhalation, let go of micromanaging your breath. If you have a copy of the Yoga Sutra at home, you'll find the verse on asteya in chapter 2, verse 37. I'm not going to try to say it in Sanskrit, but in English, when abstention from stealing is firmly established, precious jewels come. The commentary is, being without desire, we effortlessly attract what is precious, materially and figuratively, including the gem of all jewels, virtue. The gem of all jewels, virtue. Take a deeper breath and begin to move fingers and toes. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs. Hang on, Rita. Bend your knees, place your feet to the mat, and make your way up to sitting, rolling to one side, letting your head be the last piece of you that rises up. Shh. And then once you are upright, we are going to bring two palms together. Base of the thumbs to the forehead. Trusting mind. And fingertips to the lips. Trust in our breath. And let's speak. Oh, keeping confidence. Not mismanaging our speech. And then hands to the heart. Trusting our body. And trusting, most importantly, our spirit. Thank you. Yay. Great practice, everyone. Thank you so much.